the ball, and then finding a way to win the game. Really proud of our group. So with that, questions?
Brian in the back, I know you love these immediate post-game sessions, but what are you seeing with your offense?
Stop. Really? Is that the first question? We won the game 20-10. Try another question. What do you want me to tell you? I just laid it out for you. We played the game to win the game. We played the game to win the game.
All right. How about third down then? What is going on with third down?
It's one game. Last game, we were great on third down. You're looking at this from the wrong perspective. LSU won the football game. Won the game. I don't know what you want from me. What do you want? You want us to win 70-0 against Florida to keep you happy?
No, I think people want to know why you can't run the ball, quite honestly.
We can run the ball. Did you see the last play of the game? That's all you need. You just need one. There's a ridiculous questions. And I'm getting tired of it. That football team just worked their tail off to get an SEC win, and you want to know what's wrong. You know what? You're spoiled. You're spoiled. This team is 17-1 at night. 17-1. Give them some respect. How about that? Give them some respect instead of micro-analyzing every little thing. This is ridiculous. For a group of seasoned reporters, that kind of question is so out of line.
Coach Deshaun Spears.
So big time. I mean, you watch how he is just engaged, getting ready to rush, stops his rush as soon as he sees the ball coming out. Puts that long arm out.
Hello, everybody. How you doing? Sunday night. LSU are 3-0. 3-0 after grinding out a 20-10 win over the Florida Gators, and it was, to be honest, we said this on the pregame show that we did on Friday that we really felt that, okay, this is either going to go two ways. The way we predicted it, which we actually predicted an LSU loss in this game in the preseason. We predicted LSU to lose their first game 29-26 here at Florida in our preseason picks. But I was like, knowing what we know now, I'm actually thinking this is not going to be a game where you're going to see LSU's offense explode. This is going to be their moment where they have that breakthrough offensively and really go off. This is going to be yet another grinding kind of defensive game. And what did we get? A 20-10 defensive game. I wish I had been wrong and LSU had put up more points. LSU put up more yards, showed us the offense that they should be, the brand of offense that they really must be. But it does not matter because LSU have the best defense in the country. I just said it. I said it. LSU have the best defense in the country. That's right. Because going into this game, I thought, okay, well, LSU haven't really faced a true rushing offense, even though they shut down Cade Klubnik, both on the ground, through the air, whatever, scrambling, extending plays. It didn't matter. We haunted and harassed Cade Klubnik. Completely shut out Clemson for an entire half. And then you almost shut out La Tech. You kind of feel like, okay, well, that's La Tech. Don't really take too much into stock with that game, right? And you wonder, what are we going to be caught by surprise by for once a real rushing offense? Jaden Baugh, Jacoby Jackson, really strong offensive line play from Florida. And, Jaden Baugh is an incredible back. And instead, you saw LSU's defense eat him alive, just 46 yards, which is the most any back has had on LSU this year. But it's actually that's the most we've allowed all season to any single back. Just 46 rushing yards. 46 rushing yards. We'll get into a big play that could have happened that would have added 67 receiving yards to Jaden Baugh's tally and could have changed this game early, giving Florida an early 10-0 lead, except an obvious, continuous Florida offensive line penalty pulled the whole play back, took this touchdown off. We'll get into how Florida's penalties helped us and also how LSU really made sure to capitalize off of these Florida errors. That's the thing that this team is really doing well, that I'm really enjoying a lot just watching this team, is defensively and here and there offensively, we're capitalizing off of the mistakes of the other team and punishing them. But there is no other way that you fail in doing that than when your offense is literally handed the ball for 5 different possessions, 5 extra possessions from an LSU defensive record, 5 interceptions in a single game. And you can only score a single field goal off turnover. 5 interceptions and just 3 points scored off of turnover. That is abysmal. And that is why the score ended 20-10. That's why it was in any way, shape, or form a close game. LSU were comfortable throughout most of the last quarter and a half. Let's be honest here. But you still felt like DJ Lagway, if he makes one big play, they could be back in this thing. Why the hell is this happening? And it was because our offense wasted one drive after another. Yes, Florida has a great defense. They have a really solid front seven. It does not matter. The bevy of weapons that are available to Garrett Nussmeier, Joe Sloan, this entire LSU offense, I don't know how you cannot be raking up the numbers. I mean, I'm not expecting 40 points a game, the extreme here. But I'm expecting at least something more than just, 2 touchdowns a game here. And that's pushing it, 2 touchdowns a game. LSU's defense outscored the offense in the second half to further illustrate my point. Thanks to Deshaun Spears' pick 6, we outscored LSU's offense in that second half. And thank God it didn't matter. Our defense is so good, we shut Florida out in that second half. So we could have won the game 13-10 anyway. The offense basically did enough for us to win in that first half. But the repeated, settling for field goals and all this stuff, doing enough to win the game, doing what we need to do to win the game, all this stuff that we'll get into Kelly and his fiery press conference speech after the game, where question about the offense, he went into a tirade that we got kind of our reaction to and want to get your reaction to, because we're seeing some reactions that are kind of all over the place and might kind of give us a very interesting in-depth look at what maybe this team is all about. And you see it again and again and again for 3 games against varying different profiles of opponents. You got, a gimme game with La Tech, and you're good on defense like you should be, just completely stonewalling them. There's nothing going, but offensively, what are we doing? No explosives really to score touchdowns on this team. No running away with it with many different big plays. Just 23-7. What type of score line is that? I mean, I remember some of LSU's worst offenses still destroying some of the small teams they played. Think about it and go back and look. You'll still see a bunch of 40-point games for even some of LSU's worst offensive seasons. And so this was very whoa. But against Clemson, an ACC team, a huge preseason favorite, and they really could be 0-3 and probably should be 0-3 and consider themselves lucky to even have a win against Troy. And so it dips the resume a bit, but now you've also got a very desperate SEC team back against the wall, a team who beat you last year, a team who beat you by 11 last year with much of the same players on their roster, same starting quarterback as well. And instead, LSU answer the call, win by 10 points, put the clamp down. Braylon Moore comes back. He plays the whole game at center. Very good news there. Very good news. But your offense looked terrible. There's no other way to say it. We'll get into what that means philosophically about this team, but there's no getting around it. Last night, LSU had a terrible offensive display, an atrocious offensive display. And I don't think it's just hey, we did enough to win. We did enough. I think it's a lot of coach speak to cover for we're not doing enough to win some games in the future where we're going to need to score more points, potentially. You can't just think that your defense is going to hold teams to a single touchdown every game, especially when you put your defense in terrible situations, field position-wise, just repeated drives out there. Florida had 15 more minutes time of possession. 15 minutes more time of possession. And LSU's defense refused to give in. And had an all-world, unbelievable performance. 5 picks. Deshaun Spears had 2. And you had Tamarcus Cooley with 1. AJ Halsey with one. So both transfer safeties also get a pick. And then you had the freshman superstar DJ Pickett went ahead and picked it for his first LSU interception to kind of finally kill the game off, because we just kept giving them the ball back nonstop and just kept giving them one opportunity after another. Just, you think, okay, 4 minutes left, LSU can run the ball and kind of kill this game off. In 3 plays, 3 quick timeouts, we were already giving them the ball back. It was embarrassing. The defense has to improve, and I understand they're taking advantage of an incredible defense, a generational defense here at LSU. But it will come back to bite this team at some point in a game that they don't deserve to lose. If you keep thinking you can skate with these really piss poor offensive displays. And I understand you did it. You did what you needed to win the game. And you know what? If you win every game this season, like 20-19 or 20-17, 20-10, like you did this last night, I'll stand to correct it. But look at Georgia's defense, how good they are. They allowed 41 points in a shootout against Tennessee on the road, where it's just a game where just one punch after another, a game that accelerates and gets out of control very quickly, no matter how good your defense is. This is the modern day of college football. Points are going to be put up on the board. Offenses are just that good. Will our offense be able to keep up? That is not a question you thought going into this season whatsoever. Will our offense be able to keep up, or are they going to leave our defense hanging with all their incredible efforts almost in vain? Because this defense, not only have they basically led from the front, they've been the showtime phase for LSU this season. The side of the ball you really want to watch. You get your popcorn. You feel more comfortable when LSU's defense is out there. You feel like they can actually have a better chance of scoring than LSU's offense. And last night that actually happened in the second half against Florida, where they caught more passes with 5 interceptions when our guy Aaron Anderson had 4 catches. Our defense caught more passes last night with 5, and they scored more second half points with 7-0 for our offense. So they're valid reasons for saying that, believe it or not. But this is a special unit. This is a unit that is one of the best I've seen at LSU. And I really hope they continue it, because it's fundamentally strong. I mean, we were spoiled with amazing defenses back in the day, weren't we? You know, I think even the 2007 defense, even though they allowed some points and some shootouts here or there, you can talk about maybe they got ran over against Arkansas and Darren McFadden. But for the most part, I think that 2007 defense is overlooked as well. But for the most part, there's been some awesome LSU defenses. You think of that 2011 defense. This is reminding me a lot of that 2011 defense, where we'll see if Perkins can have a Matthew-esque season. It's not out of the realm of possibility, but is he a Matthew-esque talent? Is he a Matthew-esque player with production? He's a different type of guy. It's hard to really compare him to Matthew. I think that's really kind of a messed up comparison in my opinion. But Perkins was showing his best last night again. 2 pass breakups, 6 tackles, 1 quarterback hit, a few pressures that we'll show you here in a second where he was just brilliant. But this was a game where LSU, I knew they were going to be ugly offensively, and I knew they were going to be conservative offensively. But you just straight up cannot think that's going to win you every single game. And you're going to be fine every single game against Alabama, A&M, even a Vanderbilt. There's going to be these sneaky games where if we're going to only beat La Tech 23-7, you better be taking that heart medication and get used to these games being some close affairs. And I know it feels great watching that defense, and because you feel like no one's going to score a damn thing or move that ball anywhere. They're not going to get a yard. And you see like our guys getting up and going like, woo, and like just loving playing defense for LSU right now, and just loving we're loving just watching them go hunt. It's incredible. But injuries happen when you allow teams to possess the football 15 more minutes than you. You're letting your guys go out there for 70 plus plays in a game. That's 2023, 2022, 2024, 2021, 2020 Matt House, Bo Pelini type territory, where these guys are playing a ton of snaps, ton of injuries. They're playing, really lackadaisically. They're getting exhausted. They're clocking the miles, and it's not really showing up well for our defense. And you're having the same guys go out there nonstop. I'm not comparing it to that situation, but you have this Blake Baker defense who are unbelievable, and they were out there for that long, held the rope for that long, just 10 points. Another half where in every game this season, LSU's defense has shut out a team for an entire half. And they shut out this team for the second half. This Florida team, desperate for a win, only down 10 points for in the most dangerous parts of this game. They were just a touchdown away. And yet it felt like they were like 3 touchdowns away from getting back in this game, when in reality they're just one big play from being back in it. And things could have been very different, and I think we need to get going into the game kind of rehash instead of looking at it from the 10,000 feet as we have in this intro, to kind of go piece by piece of where this game went. And we got a lot of comments. Load up those comments because we are going to be getting into them in just a second. And, it all started with Whit Weeks. I mean, guys, once again, LSU, what is with this, guys? LSU start these games now with absolute stunning moments where, you expect, okay, all right, we're getting into rhythm. Oh, my God. Mason Smith tears his ACL. Oh, my God, what just happened? And then one play into the game last week, and oh, my God, Braylon Moore gets rolled over. Oh, no, he's down for the count. Well, now you had another shocker where one play into the game, not one play in the game. I think 3 or 4 plays into the game for Florida's offense. Florida got the ball after LSU's quick 3 and out. Whit Weeks, on probably his first tackle of the game, is called for targeting here and ejected out of the game before we could even blink. Here's this moment right here.
Oh, crap.
They're looking at a potential targeting seems against Whit.
You can hear it. I already know that it's going to be a targeting. I'm already worried. Kelly had to really console Whit, and you knew it was going to be a targeting. It is a targeting. I'm not arguing whether it's a targeting or not. That's foolish. Of course it is. That type of hit, I seriously saw that type of hit 5 or 6 more times in that game looking for it. In fact, by one hit by Mansour Delane where he popped a guy like that, and then another hit where one of the Florida defenders rocks the crap out of Aaron Anderson, and his helmet is almost jarred off his head. You also have a play where Devon Keys goes to make a tackle and gets his helmet knocked off his head by the dude lowering his crown of his helmet right into Keys in that hit. You have multiple plays where you could have called a targeting as well, and that's the problem I have. Is they don't take in account intent. What was the player's intent? Was he Vontez Burfict going out there to decapitate someone? Or was he playing football and you can see that receiver duck his head right into the play, right into the hit, and whether he knows what he's doing or not, or just kind of instinctually ducking, it's causing it's changing the trajectory of where the location of where the hit's going to land, and that is no fault of the defender. The defender is aiming for this area. You move down there, you've changed the target, and that's not quite on the defender. You know what I'm saying? So they need to take all that into account and make it a yellow card. 2 yellow cards equals a red type of a situation, like they do in soccer, where, okay, there's serious fouls where the ref is like, hey, man, you do another type of foul like that, you're getting a booking. You're not getting away with any more fouling. There's only so many fouls you can get away with in soccer. Theoretically, you can get away with a lot of little quick, just grab some guy, pull him down type of stuff. But if they're running into space and you just rip them down, that type of stuff is usually a yellow card. And it's basically like, hey, you get another one of these, it turns into a red, you're gone. You're off the field. They need to do that with targeting, where you take into account intent, you take into account the sportsmanship of the game, where someone like Whit Weeks is never going to go out there trying to hurt somebody. He's going to go out there trying to play badass defense the only way he knows how to, which is the old school way with new school type of athleticism built into him that God gave him. And I think it was an absolutely harsh call. We've seen Whit Weeks almost get a targeting call against him previously last season. And crazily, I thought there was no way. When they review it, it's like they always call it 99.9% of the time. And for some weird reason, they spared Whit that night. And it was like, thank God, because that's just in the spirit of the game. Ejecting a kid for that hit, it just makes no sense. If you played the game and you know how the game is played, you've actually gotten the crap knocked out of you. You've played football. You've done two-a-days. You understand that those type of hits happen every single play. It's literally just they're protecting investments. They're protecting their name, looking like they're in. We're making the game safer. No, you're not. You're punishing kids for every day. Every play hits, and trying to say that a kid's gonna somehow get his head out of a hit is almost like defying physics and gravity at points. It's absolutely absurd. Almost, how do you play defense anymore? How do you play defense? How do you avoid a hit like this, especially if the defenseless player, quotation marks, defenseless player, because that player is the football. So is every player who has the football a defenseless player, or are they a ball carrier? When do you pick that? If they're a running back, if they're a running quarterback? Because it seems like Jaden Daniels, you could knock the crap out of him. You could knock his helmet off his head. They wouldn't call anything. Well, because he's a runner. He's a runner. There just seems to be these very strange differences. Wasn't this guy a runner? And it feels like running backs specifically get targeted type of hits, crown of the helmet type of hits on almost every play. And you see nothing called. So to start the game off like this was a shock. But here's the thing that I love, guys. Here's the thing that I love. Ladies and gentlemen, LSU's offense against Louisiana Tech lose Braylon Moore. And yes, that was a big loss. That sucked to lose Braylon Moore. And you're wondering, how long is he going to be out for? Is this a big deal? And thank God it wasn't a big deal. But the offense brought in DJ Chester and proceeded to crap their pants and just have a really bad performance against Louisiana Tech. And the Braylon Moore loss kind of shocked their system, right? The LSU defense lose arguably their best player, most valuable player, Whit Weeks. And later, entering the fourth quarter, lose his brother, West, who was having a career game. West was incredible last night. 12 tackles, 1 TFL, was all over the freaking place. And as he's pressuring DJ Lagway out of bounds, strains his calf. You had the third Weeks brother, the freshman, Zach Weeks, who reclassified a year ahead. Technically, he should be a senior in high school right now. Instead, he found himself in what should have been the fall of his senior year on the field in Death Valley playing Florida. Number 35, Zach Weeks, and the moment was not big enough for him. I mean, it wasn't too big for him. He was awesome in crunch time. It didn't feel like he was out of place or like he was in the wrong position, giving up some type of huge gap, some over the middle, knowing when to disguise the blitz. He didn't really make any impact in the backfield. I think he maybe had 1 or 2 tackles, but his presence, it didn't change anything. This is a true freshman. You'd think, okay, this kid hasn't even played a snap defensively. Same thing with Tylen Singleton, another linebacker who comes into that game, and there's no problem. He goes in there and makes awesome plays. He had a penalty on him on special teams that Kelly was really pissed off about. But Singleton comes in there and makes a few big-time plays where, okay, you think he's going to tackle the guy and kind of let the guy go forward for the first down. Instead, he tackles the guy and just smashes him down right there at the 1-yard line so that it's 4th and 1, forcing Florida to punt. Like, those are the type of tackles you haven't seen at LSU in a long time. And these are the type of things you haven't seen at LSU in a long time. That type of defensive depth where, okay, Whit Weeks goes down. God, well, we have West Weeks. Yeah, but he's not his brother Whit. And then he proceeds to have a career game, a Whit Weeks type of game, where now you can't just like disrespect West and constantly compare him to his brother, constantly say he's not as good of a player or couldn't ever be. This dude's a baller. He proved that last night, and we'll show you proof of that. You lose both of those guys, and Davon Keys proceeds to have 14 tackles, a half of a sack, a TFL, is there constantly to prevent, limited yardage from some of the explosive plays that Florida were able to have. They actually put up a ton of yards on LSU's defense, 366 yards against LSU's defense last night. It didn't mean a damn thing. That's how good this defense is. We didn't have Whit Weeks in the game, and then we lost West Weeks as well. We were down to freshmen who, you could maybe burn these freshmen for yards on some of these dinky-dink routes, right? 5-10 yards here. And then they were going to make those tackles, or the safeties were going to make those tackles. But what I love is when you got down into the red zone, it didn't mean shit. It didn't mean anything. All those yards, this defense stood up and said, you're not scoring points. And we held you to a single touchdown and a single field goal. And I'm so blown away by this defense, guys. And the way they reacted in such adversity. You lose Whit Weeks that quickly. You lose West Weeks. All this stuff is going against you. Your offense cannot possess the football for longer than a minute and a half. You are constantly out there. Lagway's starting to get into rhythm. He's starting to hit guys on the run. He's starting to really deliver the football with that kind of Pat Mahomes baseball, football kind of hybrid arm that, GMs love right now, where he's just got that touch to fit it in over guys' heads. And you're thinking, oh, God, we're in for a long night. And instead, LSU's defense, what do? 2.9 yards rushing allowed tonight. 2.9 yards rushing allowed tonight. 41% of the plays that LSU faced went for no gain or for a loss. 5 interceptions a program, LSU defensive program record. Okay. Just constantly embarrassing this team, dictating to this team. LSU's defense has faced 36 offensive drives through 3 games, and they've only allowed 3 touchdowns and 2 field goals. Just 5 scoring drives from 36 total drives faced. Just 1 touchdown in each game allowed. Just a single touchdown in each game allowed. What we're seeing here is historic, y'all. This defense is absolutely unbelievable. They've shut out their opponents, as we just barely said, for an entire half in each game. The second half versus Clemson, the first half versus Louisiana Tech, and that second half versus Florida. They're also allowing just 12 conversions from 43 third down attempts. Just 12 third down conversions from 43 overall third down attempts. LSU have allowed over 3 games just 168 rushing yards from 74 total carries for just 2.2 yards per carry. They gave up just 4.5 yards per play against Clemson, surrendered 2.9 yards per play against Louisiana Tech, and 4.8 yards per play against Florida last night. And they're only allowing 260 total yards per game. LSU's defense just caught their 6th interception of the season last night. They had 5 in that game against Florida, the record in LSU program history defensively. And then Mansour DeLeon also got 1 in the first game against Clemson. LSU now have 6 interceptions as a defense in their entirety. LSU only caught 6 interceptions as a defense in the entire 2024 13-game season. Do you understand that? I'm talking all the defenders, not just the secondary. LSU's entire defense only grabbed 6 interceptions last year. This defense has 6 through 3 games and 5 in 1 game. That is what is possible against a quarterback so many were ordaining as a preseason Heisman in DJ Lagway, a quarterback who, 5-star, started as a freshman, has already got a win against LSU on his belt, on his resume. No doubt going to probably be a first-round pick, a franchise quarterback someday, DJ Lagway. And this defense did that. A historic performance that will always be remembered. Were you there the night LSU caught 5 interceptions? They usually do this against Florida. They caught, Corey Webster caught 3 on Rex Grossman against the Gators. And then we caught 4 interceptions in the 2021 crazy morning game where Ty Davis Price also set the single game rushing record against Florida. And now you've got a 5 interception game against Florida. LSU loved to get turnovers against Florida, and it's just a beautiful thing, y'all. And that game was special, and it's just what a way to respond. What a way to respond. This is the play where it all began.
Yeah.
Spears read that, hovers over there and picks it. Beautiful, beautiful reading. Lagway got a little too greedy, thought he could make that throw. And Spears reminded him, you cannot make this throw. Look at it. Look at he tries to fit in that window. And, you're supposed to put that ball to the outside. He hung it inside. Spears was there. His first career LSU interception. And he was not done. He was not done, wasn't he? You also have this nice play from P.J. Woodland. This is just shows you how I wanted to really showcase how tight LSU special teams has been this year under Coach Amon Anand. You've had this type of return coverage by some of these guys. They've been incredible. Jack Pyburn also had a big special team stop after a I think it was a 23-yard return by Florida, where it looked like he was gone and Pyburn made a big stop there. Look at that tackle from Woodland. That's absolute freaking beauty right there. It looks like Woodland jumped beyond him. And he reaches back and just rips his legs down, dudes. Like, this defense is beyond anything we could have hoped for. The swagger, I mean, the physical, visceral punishment of our opponents. It's just something to behold. And here's a rare play against LSU's defense by Lagway. We're going to show you what he was able to do with the football against our defense here and there. Able to put it in those tight windows. Able to kind of fit it in those areas. And this throw was beautiful. This is the only touchdown LSU allowed of the night, but you got to hand it to DJ Lagway. This is a ridiculous pass over the top of right over the top of Marcus Cooley.
He drops it right in the bucket for a big answering score.
And that would be the only touchdown Florida would score. And then LSU would. This would be
A bullet.
I don't think that's the best Nussmeier pass of the night. That's one of them. That's as confident as he looked all night, really. And I'm really happy for Xavion to get his, I think, just fourth LSU touchdown now, maybe fifth with the return touchdown that he had. But a big receiving touchdown there for LSU. We had to have that one. But this play could have really changed things in this game. I really want to highlight this play. This is the Jaden Baugh play. There's the hold. You can see it. And he's wide open. A rare busted coverage. I haven't seen a busted coverage from the defense all season. And there it is. And luckily, they called that back for a hold. Or that game would have been 10-0 Florida early, and it would have been a confidence shaker for this defense. You're losing Whit Weeks, and now you get beaten over the top. DJ Lagway is kind of more in rhythm. Instead, Deshaun Spears is able to intercept DJ Lagway. And then we're able to get some of these plays like this. Where you're just making DJ Lagway have to think even more. He can't just be in a rhythm. He has to constantly know where Harold Perkins is at all times. He's got to constantly know where the coverages are switching. I thought Perk was about to hit that to himself and scoop that up and go in. Here's a great sack by Devon Keys as well. I love those scenes. Those scenes are just that's the swaggering LSU defense we have missed for years. That's the defense we have wanted for years at LSU. All of us have wanted that type of a defense for years at LSU. That was a Tamarcus Cooley pick. Sorry, I don't know what hit. I don't know what button hit that Florida guy shoving Davon after he sacks. Like, what the hell is that? Florida are so stupid and soft. I love how this is set up. Watch this. This is art. Look at the blitzing right there. Tamarcus Cooley is just flying in there. Like, Tamarcus Cooley might as well be a linebacker in that moment. Like, I love how you've seen Mansour Delon, you've seen Tamarcus Cooley, you've seen PJ Woodland, you've seen Jarden Gilbert all over the place. All these different guys blitzing and attacking the quarterback. You saw Pickett attacking the quarterback in the backfield and having success. It is the exact decoy disguised defense where just you're making the quarterback constantly consider every possibility, because with Blake Baker, you never know. And it's been such a beautiful defense to watch. This is such a beautiful defense. But, man, you give up that play to Baugh, overturned by a Florida flag. You never know what can happen with this game. You never know what can happen with this game. And because it's Florida LSU, you never know. Thank God we get that flag and Spears gets his first pick, all right? You've got some big plays coming up where this really, for me, this just changed things right here. This is the play that really, this is the play that told me, like, LSU, I think, are going to be okay in this game. Like, because you had nothing going offensively.
What a move there.
And this play finally got something going offensively. 31 yards there on the jerk route. Beautiful play from Aaron Anderson on third down as well.
Late hit.
Where's the late hit out of bounds, too? We never get those late hit calls. Total late hit there. And that's ridiculous. They didn't call that. But you also had this play by Barry Brown.
Yeah, baby.
So you had some more, like, LSU can do this. LSU can get this going. Like, but time after time after time offensively, they just kept pissing the ball right back to them. It was embarrassing. And you had to rely on these type of plays where you see these incredible I mean, that's like catching a punt, but you just love that your safety is there over the top. That's just something we're not used to as LSU Tigers fans the last few years. Your safety is there. Jacoby and Killer making one of the probably the best play in LSU career. Tack the DJ like a whole big. Oh my God, big tank and just absolutely desecration. This is absolute desecration. And Guillory's like, I'm not sharing that. This is mine. Like he probably does with a fish taco or something. Like, this is mine. It's just you started to really see some plays start to come up, and then this is the play where Oh, I'll show this play first.
This is the kind of game West Weeks is having. Watch this.
Yeah, it's not as crisp or as pretty as maybe Witt would make it look, but that's exactly what you want, is as effective as you want that play to be. West Weeks goes flying there, fits the gap, and shuts his ass down. Beautiful play from Witt Weeks. From West Weeks. And then this play, man, this play was the backbreaker right here.
Oh!
And that's when you knew this game was LSU's. 20-10. Spears with his second interception, a pick six. And for some weird reason, though, our offense kept giving the ball back. And this is what happens when you unnecessarily put your defense out there time after time. Injuries are going to happen. And we saw West Weeks go down with a calf strain. And you kind of saw this really moving moment where his brother, who's already ejected, Witt, right there, is looking on. We've seen the footage of West looking on as Witt, broke his parts of his leg in certain areas, dislocated fibula and dislocated ankle. In the Baylor game, we've seen that. So now you see the other side of it. This family has gone through everything as LSU Tigers. It's pretty incredible. But this play to kill it off finally is so. This play was sick. This play was sick. Actually, no. Before we play that play, we need to show this as well, because this was so bad. But this is just careless. What's he doing? It's just careless. What's he doing? It's just careless. What's he doing? What was going on with Nussmeier with this interception? What in the hell was this? I think it's the worst Nussmeier interception of his LSU career. I'm not joking. And I'm a big Nuss fan. I'm a big Nuss Buzz supporter. But that just cannot happen. He literally threw away 3 points right there.
What?
I mean, where is he going to? Where is he going anyway? He's rolling out of bounds. Like, I can make any throw no matter what. It's a Steph Curry type of fadeaway 3-point. It's like, this isn't the NBA. This isn't basketball. This is football, where if you make an off-platform throw, a guy can get a beat on the ball and go pick it off in the air. And that is an interception that just cannot happen from Garrett Nussmeier. Cannot happen. And that's the type of crap that was going on and why LSU kept giving the ball back. And thank God that DJ Pickett got a pick, went up and picked it, and killed the game off. Just
DJ
beautiful.
Pickett picks it.
A desperate throw, but Pickett, you see his length there. You see Lagway's outrageous arm strength also, just that he can kind of cannon that thing over there.
Stingley vibe. You got a Stingley vibe
balance
from 2019 against Florida.
Pickett goes in there and picks it off, but some Derek Stingley vibes from 2019 Florida there in that moment. But LSU's defense, they were incredible in this game, but constantly put in the worst positions by this offense. And I really am about to get into kind of some philosophical things to end the show. But first, I want to get into your comments. Wow, a lot of comments. A lot of comments. Thank you, guys. A ton of comments. First off, this offense, Joe Sloan, you can see Alex Atkins there on the far right, not looking like he's enjoying being there, actually. The rushing game being really poor. You know, Caden Durham had 93 yards, 93 of LSU's 96 rushing yards, right? Everyone else had 3 yards, and most of the 93 yards are from one play, 51-yard play. And that's kind of the thing with our offense. Aaron Anderson, 75 yards, 4 catches, 31 of those came from one catch. Caden Durham had the 51-yarder, that basically half of his output. Nussmeier, that terrible red zone interception, and a shaky performance once again. Bauer Sharp, 65 of his 71 yards from one catch where, Bauer Sharp makes that play, goes down the field. LSU are inside like the 10-yard line. There is a multiple fumble exchange disaster in the LSU backfield that loses 17 yards. And then on the next play, Nussmeier throws that disastrous red zone interception. That's how we reacted to finally like the biggest play of our offensive year so far. That Bauer Sharp catch and run over the middle for 65 right down the seam. That's how we handled success. Literally shitting the ball away right back to Florida in a game that we only had a 10-point lead. And you cannot exhaust a defense like this. You cannot keep shoving your defense out there like that, play after play after play. 15 minutes difference in time of possession is absolute. That can't happen. That cannot happen. Can LSU win games like this? Can LSU win a national championship doing this? I don't think they can win a national championship playing offense like they did Saturday night against Florida. No. Can they win lower scoring games with lesser, more limited output offensively, with maybe Garrett Nussmeier not having the numbers you imagined, maybe Durham, the receivers, not having the numbers you imagined, but being able to be complementary and control games at times, dictate terms, win the if you have to win it through the air, you win it through the air that night. If you have to win it on the ground, you win it. This offense could do that. They showed us against Clemson they could do that. How good is Clemson though? There's so many questions about this offense because it's like I understand where Kelly's comments post game were. He doesn't want to hear the post, hey, how dare you? How dare you? How dare you question this offense because we won the game? But I'm telling you, if you give the people of Baton Rouge a defense like this, and just like in 2023, you gave them an offense like that, a quarterback like that, a receiving duo like that, and you could not deliver even a college football playoff appearance, even a big-time bowl game appearance, people will remember that you've done that twice and on different sides of the ball. So there's no one person can be blamed except the head coach at this point. And so Brian Kelly, we figured he wanted a more physically plotting, controlled rush attack type of more old school offense when he came to LSU, and we didn't really see that for a bit here. And now we're starting to see it a lot more this season, where they're so conservative. Love punting with Grant Chadwick. I'm fine with you winning these defensive games, okay? I'm fine with it. As long as LSU wins the game, I don't care. But I'm telling you, you cannot just get by with, guys having 50 yards receiving and Caden Durham maybe having 27 yards receiving against La Tech. Or maybe he'll have 90, maybe he'll have only 27. And some of these things that Kelly said after the game, well, you just need one, you just need one, you just need two, you just need, and I'm sorry. When your defense is that good, sure. It does not matter in modern football because there's going to be injuries. You're going to allow more points than this as the season goes on. There's going to be certain changes that might affect the defense in ways where LSU aren't going to be keeping guys nonstop out of the end zone like we were in the first half of the season. You never know what's going to happen. And so resting on your laurels as an offense with the weapons we have it makes no sense to me. At the same time, I do understand Kelly's reaction to this question. I do understand because it is the first question he is asked after a big SEC win. And so it kind of does say, hey, this is a win, but it's marked by negativity. And if I was Kelly, I'd probably have the same type of response. But if you haven't seen it, maybe you're living under a rock. But if you are living under a rock, we'll show you.
The ball, and then finding a way to win the game. Really proud of our group. So with that, questions?
Brian in the back, I know you love these immediate post-game sessions, but what are you seeing with your offense?
Stop. Really? Is that the first question? We won the game 20-10. Try another question. What do you want me to tell you? I just laid it out for you. We played the game to win the game. We played the game to win the game.
All right. How about third down then? What is going on with third down?
It's one game. Last game, we were great on third down. You're looking at this from the wrong perspective. LSU won the football game. Won the game. I don't know what you want from me. What do you want? You want us to win 70-0 against Florida to keep you happy?
No, I think people want to know why you can't run the ball, quite honestly.
We can run the ball. Did you see the last play of the game? That's all you need. You just need one. There's a ridiculous questions. And I'm getting tired of it. That football team just worked their tail off to get an SEC win, and you want to know what's wrong. You know what? You're spoiled. You're spoiled. This team is 17-1 at night. 17-1. Give them some respect. How about that? Give them some respect instead of micro-analyzing every little thing. This is ridiculous. For a group of seasoned reporters, that kind of question is so out of line.
Coach Deshaun Spears.
The coach, I understand Kelly. I wouldn't say the question is out of line. I think the question is more than worthy of being asked. This is Michael Cobble from WBRZ who asked the question. I know Michael hasn't really liked me much in the past. I think maybe I've warmed to his heart during the Vegas trip. Who knows? But Michael, I think, is just, you're pointed at very quickly, and you got to ask the question that you want to know the most, that you are kind of zoned in on. Obviously, Michael Cobble, like a lot of fans, was zoned in on how great the defense was. Sure, he was also zoned in on how just terrible we were on offense, almost pathetic offensively, to be honest. I mean, it was Cam Cameron territory offensively. And I don't think it's out of line from Michael Cobble to ask that, but I think it's perfectly fine as well for Kelly to be pissed because of the timing of the question. If that had been like the third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh question, any other question about the first or second, like maybe, you know, first question's kind of like, hey, the team did well to do this, you know. Okay, but you're also not a propaganda arm for the team, you know, and you might be upset by the way it was asked, but that's someone also doing their job. So you're doing your job, being upset, saying, hey, you know, I'm protecting my guys and I'm looking out for my guys. That's fine. The other guy can also feel like, what the hell was Kelly's deal? You know, I was just asking a question because that offense is bad. And so I understand both sides of it here. I'm not really like, oh, have some fiery take over that question. But what I will say is this offense, man, you cannot win a national championship with the offense playing like that. You can win a national championship with Joe Sloan as your offensive coordinator. You can win a national championship with this offense. In fact, years from now, we'll look back and say, if we didn't win a national championship with a quarterback like Garrett Nussmeier and an offense where you look at the names that we've got on this offense and you'll be shocked if we don't win a championship with a defense like that. And it will be the same type of situation like 2023, just in complete reverse. And then Brian Kelly would be considered a very strange coach where you've got, during his tenure at LSU, the worst special teams unit in LSU history in 2022 under Brian Polian. Then you got the worst defensive unit in LSU history under Matt House in 2023. And then, you know, two lukewarm units in 2024 that injury ravaged, couldn't really ever have a chance of reaching their potential in 2024. And still could have actually gotten into the 12-team playoff and kind of just pissed it away in their ineptitude. But now in 2025, you could have statistically one of the greatest LSU defenses of all time. Only allowing 9 points per game so far through 3 games. You could have that and have a quarterback that's a Heisman, you know, preseason Heisman finalist everywhere. A guy who threw for 4,000 yards last year. A guy who you thought would walk to breaking Tommy Hodson's record. And now he's throwing for 220, 230 yards a game, just a single touchdown. And starting to throw really careless interceptions. Garrett Nussmeier's performances have not been good at all the last 2 games. Clemson, I love the steely leadership he had, the iron hand to guide us through. All that was fine. And he is managing the games for us this year. Way different role than we were expecting. And at the same time, I don't care about that either. I don't care. I don't care how many yards he throws for or doesn't throw for. But there's so many plays that simply Nuss is missing on the field here, where he's missing wide open guys, either with the football or with his eyes. Missing big areas of space where he can just run into and slide and get about 8 or 9 yards, maybe even more. But you saw him take off for 5 yesterday. He did not look comfortable running the ball at all. And he did not want to get hit while running the ball at all. He's a quarterback, obviously, but he was more adverse to that hit than I've ever seen him, which just continuously points back to the idea that I don't think Nuss is 100%. And I think it is absolutely shaking up the offense. I think it's limiting the offense. I mean, right now, I'm going to look up his average depth of target for his passing because I really want to know how many deep passes he's thrown. And then we'll get into your comments. This is, it's stunning to me how we really haven't seen Nuss even uncork really many deep throws at all, over like 25, 30 yards. Mostly it's been plays where the guy catches it a 10-yard pass, 15-yard pass at the most, and then goes for 25, 30, if we get that. Here we go. Garrett Nussmeier, average depth of target. Nuss has only 7 big-time throws in 3 games, which is really low for him. Nussmeier's average depth of target, okay, 6.7. Do you want to hear his average depth of target last year? 9.5. Over 3 yards fewer than last year. Average depth of target. It's just not good enough. I don't know what we're seeing from Nussmeier other than inaccuracy, dysfunction with the offensive line at times. There's penalties. You know, Weston Davis with a false start. Braylon Moore with a false start as well. Weston Davis with another holding. And I know Brian Kelly wants to be bullish and get angry and say, hey, no, we ran the ball because we rushed for 96 yards, damn it. And it's like, can you tell me, eye test, that you had any sustained running game that put Florida in any bent out of shape situation? Can you point to any moment where LSU ran the football with any command yesterday and really impacted the game rushing the ball? Can you point a moment to that outside of like maybe one little run here by Caden Durham and then that 51-yarder? And that's it. That's it. And the 51-yarder, as much as Kelly wants to, be happy about that one to pad the stats a little, give something, that play was when Florida's defense had mentally given up after doing everything they could to get their team back in the game and watching their quarterback throw interception after interception. I mean, our defense also was demoralized too because we had an offense that you give them one possession after another and it didn't matter. They just kept throwing it away. Those numbers are incredible. LSU got 3 sacks. You had Dominic McKinley with a sack, Jacobian Guillory with the sack, as we showed you, and Davon Keys, and someone else shared that sack with him. Let me look that up real quick. Who shared that sack with Davon Keys yesterday? Let's see here. Oh, yeah, it was Patrick Payton. Very glad to see him finally get on the board with a sack because he's been so good in the backfield lately. He only has 2 tackles and a half of a sack on his stat line. And I'm sure he has a few TFLs that we can look up on Sports Reference. But, man, like, he's been incredible in the backfield. He's absolutely owned the backfield. LSU have 63 quarterback pressures this season already. 63 quarterback pressures. You heard me correctly. LSU's defense, 63 freaking quarterback pressures in a game. The lowest we had in a game was 19. That's insane. That's insane. Deshaun Spears leads the SEC now with 2 picks. And actually was 3rd in the country in coverage rating. Mansour Delane doing an unbelievable 2nd in the country. Sorry, 2nd in the SEC. Or no. Sorry, take that back. 2nd in the country in pass breakups with 4. That is correct. Mansour Delane's been incredible. 88.7 defensive rating, 88.4 coverage rating. Mansour Delane is 26th in the country in coverage rating at 88.4. Insane. He's had a ton of targets come his way. Allowed nothing. 18 targets his way, only allowed 36 yards from just 4 freaking catches. Harold Perkins with 8 pressures leads the way. Whit Weeks has 7. Whit Weeks is also the 46th rated pressure pass rusher on Pro Football Focus. And he's got 7 pressures. Jack Pyburn with 5. Bernard Gooden with 5. Gabe Relaford with 4. Ahmad Bro with 4. West Weeks with 4. Patrick Payton with 4. I feel like Payton has more than 4. Davon Keys with 3. Gilbert with 3. And also Gilbert has a sack as well that he shared with Pyburn. Jamari Butler with 3. Pickett has 2, incredibly. Woodland 2. McKinley 2. Halsey 2. Delane has 2 pressures. Cooley has a pressure as well. And then Guillory getting that sack as well yesterday was incredible. But my God, guys, LSU constantly racking up the pressures. I mean, yesterday in that game against Florida, the amount of pressures they had against Florida was ridiculous. You want to know how many pressures they had against Florida? It was out of this world. LSU's defense, 21 pressures and 3 quarterback hits, 3 sacks, 5 tackles for loss, 5 batted passes, of course, 5 interceptions. Unbelievable, putting the clamp down, complete domination from LSU defensively. That really made it a one-dimensional game for Florida. They could not wake up. They were stuck in just a complete coma, a complete haze, and our defense just completely they're just so fun to watch. And they did it all without Whit Weeks playing some freshman at linebacker and playing a freshman at corner as well. Playing a really, still a young guy, inexperienced as well with Deshaun Spears, who gets 2 picks in only 22 snaps. What a story. Pick 6 as well. Let's go into our comments. Jennifer London starts it all off. She says, is it all on the offense? Also, okay, we'll get into her second question later, but we'll go with her first question first. She says, is it all on the offense? We won the game, Jennifer, so it's all good. But I would say that the struggles of this team, they really are all on the offense because the defense has been so out of this world that you couldn't really expect a defense in the modern game to be better than this. They are absolutely outrageous what they're doing. 9 points allowed per game, just stuffing these stuffing these offenses, whether it's Cade Klubnik or now DJ Lagway. Great quarterbacks lead teams to championships. LSU just played 2 great quarterbacks out of 3 teams. Whatever you want to say about Clemson, whatever you want to say about Florida, those are 2 great quarterbacks. Those are 2 first-round pick quarterbacks. And LSU's defense bottled them up, frustrated the hell out of them, and made them have 2 of the worst performances of their college career. And this defense is absolutely animalistic and incredible. But this offense, they have to get it figured out. They have to get it figured out, or it will be all on the offense. If they lose, if they don't win a championship, if they don't get to a playoff, go on a deep run, this is a team that has no business not going on a deep playoff run, especially with a defense like this. If you want to manage games with a quarterback like Nussmeier, you can't get much better at having a quarterback like him managing you through a game. Like, he can make the throws when you need to make them. You have a running back like Caden Durham who can be a dual threat guy when you need it. I just don't understand the conservatism and the handbrake type of offense. Like, unleash these guys. We have the defense. No one can stop that defense. No one can go to town on that defense. So why don't you unleash this offense? Why is there so much fear? That's what I want to know. Jennifer London's second question, she's, how do you like how Perk is being used? Thank you for all your coverage. Nice article last night. I read it at 3 a.m. I couldn't sleep. It was hard for me to sleep either, but it was for a different reason. Sage was freaking out all night, just right when we got to bed, around I think it was 1:30 or something. I'd gotten the article done and all that stuff. So thank you for reading that. Put a lot of work into it and hope you guys like it. We always love to give you the quickest reaction possible, while at the same time making it something that will last and hold up, reading wise. And then we also like to do a deep dive, show. And that's what we're doing right now. I love the best of both worlds. That's why we like giving you these, both of these worlds. But for me, Perkins, for starters, actually, thank you for reading it and thank you for the nice things that you said, Jennifer. But as far as Perk, I don't know how you could complain. I mean, yes, it would be great if he had 5-6 sacks, right? It would be great if he had a few interceptions or was racking up the stats. But really, you've seen Perkins stuff the stat sheet in everywhere. At least get something in the stat sheet everywhere. Perkins has shown himself to be an absolute menace for the Tigers. He's really, 14 combined tackles over 3 games, which is kind of lower than we thought, but he's still 4th on the team in tackles. 2 TFLs, a sack, 2 pass breakups, both last night. Still stuffing the stat sheet, still attacking the backfield. He has those 8 pressures, leading the team with 8 quarterback pressures. You've seen him off the edge. You've seen him in the free roll. I love how they're using him, because I feel like we can get him more in the box and more closer to the line of scrimmage. Last night, I think you would have seen him rack up more sacks, more pressures, if Whit Weeks hadn't have been knocked out of the game, because then we kind of used him more as another auxiliary linebacker, just to give Davon Keys and West Weeks a bit more of some safety and some insurance. And especially when West Weeks went down, then you really needed to give Davon Keys that help with the freshmen, because you couldn't leave Davon Keys with all those freshmen on an island by himself. And Keys, man, he's good. He's still making these plays even when guys are about to go past him for big time gains, and he's the only one there, and he makes these unbelievable stops. So what I'm getting at is actually something that's more beyond just Perkins. It's how Perkins affects and actually maximizes the players around him, just with his mere presence and his athletic versatility and being in that free role. It gets the best out of guys like Cooley. It gets the best out of guys like Whit Weeks. West Weeks has even been awesome at middle linebacker. And you really hope that everyone stays healthy, because he's going to continue to evolve, and Blake Baker is going to continue to be more creative, more aggressive, and this defense can get even better. I mean, it's truly nuts how good this defense can be. And Perkins, really, he's the tip of the spear, man. Mark Romanowski says, are we going to talk about Kelly's outburst, immature stuff from our head man? Well, man, we just talked about it, as I'm sure you just heard, but I wouldn't say immature. I would say Kelly's overprotective. And that's not just of the players, but also of Joe Sloan. He wanted to protect Joe Sloan from slander, and I get it. But, it's the same thing that was going on with Matt House. I remember there was a snappy answer about the defense early in 2023 about, we won the game, stop it. And it was like, some early shootout game. And it was like, well, we won the game, so who cares? I think it was like the game against Missouri or something. And it was like, dude, this is going to come back to haunt us with this defense. They're just asking questions. Sure enough, came back to haunt us. So I'm not sure about your question about it being immature, but with Kelly, I get where he's coming from, but he's got to figure this shit out. He's got to get this offense straight. Cole Adams says Sloan knows what Nuss does well. Make bad decisions in pressure situations. Just kidding. I get the joke. I mean, but Nussmeier actually has done some great stuff in pressure situations too. Like, don't just be revisionist history about everything just because, there's some type of we don't like how the offense is operating right now, of course. And this is about just win. Just put the W's on the board. We don't give a damn how it's done. And that's literally the last line of my article last night. It was like, if LSU keep winning like this, no one in Baton Rouge is going to give a damn. It's people out of the country. It's not out of the country. People across the country, people nationally, who are going to be saying, what is this? How could this be such a poor offensive display? This is wide receiver U. And I'm bothered by the fact that, yes, LSU seems to have we can never have like two great phases at once. We're only like blessed with having one phase that's elite. And as 2019 is going to be as close as we can ever get, because that is the truth here, guys. Like, if LSU can figure it out on offense even just a little bit, can anybody beat us? Think about that right there. If LSU can figure it out even just a little bit, have some 30-point games, some 40-point games here or there, and then, if in these close games you want to be conservative and win it 20-17, as long as you win the game, no one's going to care. But, like, is this who LSU is? Because here's the thing. If LSU have this type of defense for the rest of the season and we stay healthy, they've got me dreaming. Because if this offense gets in any type of rhythm, a few 100-yard games here by Aaron Anderson, a few 300-yard games here by Garrett Nussmeier, get him back in that vibe, how can anybody beat us? How can anybody beat us? How could you go in against LSU thinking you're going to win against this team? Against that defense, and then an offense that is just capable of finishing it. You know, the defense sets the tone. The defense has the emotional intensity, the swagger, and then the offense is kind of cold, calculated, and just buries you. Just finishes it off. Whether they do it through the legs of Caleb Jackson in short yardage, Caden Durham, just throw it up to Trey'Dez Green, we don't care. But you've got to put up points. You can't score 2 touchdowns a game and think you're gonna do this. As good as that defense is, you cannot put a defense out there for 70-plus plays every single game and expect them to not only produce that, but stay away from injuries, being able to stay fit and not exhausted and not give up big plays. When you're exhausted, you're giving up big plays. LSU's defense gave up big plays yesterday because they were without key guys, because they were exhausted, because Florida had 15 more minutes of time of possession. So if LSU's offense, maybe say they can't put up a lot of points, okay, well then you got to bleed clock. You've got to bleed clock, right? You got to do something. You got to get first downs, which they seem like they're really good at just racking up first downs and moving the chains until last night. And they do have the propensity to deliver and pull it out of the fire on third downs. But LSU, man, we've got to figure out how to get an offense that can generate just a little something. Because I'm telling you, if this offense can score even just 3 touchdowns a game, just give me 3, LSU could literally lose 1 game and that's it this season. Like, I could see it. Because, frankly, this defense is scary good, guys. And you can see it from the film. And you can see it in DJ Lagway's eyes right there. That this defense scares you. This defense makes you second guess your every decision, your every move. This defense completely gets you out of your element. Cade Klubnik didn't look anywhere close to the quarterback you've seen all offseason, all these highlight reels, all of last year. You didn't see anything like that. DJ Lagway, he had some moments. He was able to get into a rhythm, even with, some of our biggest defenders down, out of the game. It didn't matter. 5 interceptions. And they're getting in the backfield. They're getting the sacks now. They're racking up sacks. They're getting a ridiculous number of pressures. Starting to rack up tackles for loss with 17 now. No team can run the football on us. No team can run the football on us. No mas. It's awe-inspiring in its brutality, brother. Cole Adams says, super glad to see how ready Keys was for the moment. Davon Keys, man. He came in last game and had 9 tackles and looked really good last game against Louisiana Tech. And I remember talking to his dad about it. I'm like, your son led the team in tackles, 9 tackles. Like, ooh, and we knew, he's probably not going to start. West Weeks is kind of taking that starting job. But you know that Davon is going to get opportunities and moments. And just like Deshaun Spears, you're going to get opportunities and you're going to get moments in these games. And Blake Baker's been smart early this season in making sure everyone feels they're involved. Jacobian Guillory was starting to kind of go more to the periphery of the roster. And he gets one of the best. I mean, that is the best sack he's had in his LSU career. Just incredible, an incredible play. And so it's not just we're so glad that Keys was ready in that moment, but LSU has depth you can count on everywhere. I mean, Keys had a pick 6 last year against Oklahoma. Keys is a TFL machine. He's great in coverage. He's great at making that shoestring tackle. He's almost a safety in a lot of ways, but a pure linebacker. Just a great player for LSU to be able to call on. Cole Adams says, I hate coaches that alienate the press and go tell the team it's them against everyone, like the fans don't like them. That's immature. You know, that's kind of, you know, hey, offense, everyone thinks you suck. Hey, offense, everyone thinks you suck. Oh, my God. Questions about the offense. It's because Kelly knows. He's a politician. He lost his mind because no one expected him to lose his mind right there. They expected him to go, yeah, we suck. I just ripped Joe Sloan a new one. I just yelled at Joe Sloan because he almost lost us this game, or, you know, whatever. And instead he's, how dare you, because he's playing politics with the moment because he wants the media, the local media, to back the F off and stop being so pressure-filled for Joe Sloan, because they've been out for blood for Joe Sloan. The pressure has been insane. The talk has been everywhere. He's been in the crosshairs. Everyone knows it. That was a moment for Brian Kelly to take one for his offensive coordinator and say, I'm taking the target off my coordinator. I'm putting it on this crazy press conference. Thank you, Michael Cobble, for all we know, Cobble and LSU Sports Info worked this out before the press conference. Of Cobble, you're going to ask this question. It's going to enrage Brian Kelly because, Cobble and Kelly are good buddies in the media. So that's the thing, is there's a lot of times I've seen in the media where Kelly and Cobble have had great relations, and he knows Cobble by name and does one-on-one interviews with him. Not this season, but almost every other season. And so I think a lot of theater was into that, to be honest, because it's not like he has some vendetta against Michael Cobble or something. It's not like that. Like, he respects Cobble. And so I think there could be some theater to it. It could have been a setup thing, or Cobble just happened to press his button there with that one. But either way, respect and fairness to Michael Cobble on that question. I don't think it was that out of line. Paul Tarver says BK complimented Deshaun Spears in the presser for busting butt in practice, earning more playing time. Well, I mean, what else is he going to say? Like, our guy got 2 interceptions, but he's not good. He's not good. Of course, Kelly's just going to, only 22 snaps for Spears. Only 22 snaps. But he made them count and literally leads the nation in coverage rating right now. So, incredible by him to be doing that. And I think that is the testament, though, Paul, is that he could have quit or transferred or said, oh, my God, this isn't working for me. I'm just going to hang out in the shadows of the periphery of this team this year, and then I'm going to transfer, something like that. And this team, this defense shows a lot of old school vibe in their unselfishness, how they play. Like if you see how they switch roles and how they play and how they make sure they're reading their keys and they don't go, sack hunting. They don't go glory hunting to get theirs. They make sure they stay home so that they do their job. And that was the problem with LSU's defenses these last few years is you would see guys vacate their positions to go make plays that they either had no right to make, had no athleticism to make, and no time or space to make. And usually when those guys would come do that, they would get burnt, get juked out of their socks, and usually a rushing quarterback would go off for like 30 or 40 yards. And so it's refreshing to see a defense that is locked in, dialed in, all as one together. Almost like they're moving as one. It's incredible to watch. It's so hard to drill this into a team, into a defense, and into an offense. And when you see these type of moments where a 2023 Jaden Daniels offense, the 2019 LSU offense, of course, the best. Some of those Baltimore Ravens defenses with Ray Lewis. When you have these moments where there's just such an elite side of the ball and you just cannot wait to watch certain players, that's what you've got with this LSU defense. It's just, there's something special about this group, guys. There's something special about this group. They're vicious, they're violent, they're versatile. They back each other up. They're just incredible. They're incredible. LSU allowing just 9 points over the first 3 games of the season. Unbelievable. People thought their defense was going to be good. People thought their defense might lead the way even, some people were saying. But nobody in their wildest dreams thought the defense would be this good. But here we are. And doesn't it feel so good? And, Joe Sloan is still a member of the coaching staff. And so I know people are going to still keep shitting on our guys and still keep going at our guys and our coaches and expect better, demand better, and blow them up on social media. But here's the thing. That's not going to help things really work. I'm just telling you, you need to get behind the fact that LSU are 3-0 here. If you want LSU to be successful and you want the team to be successful, you don't have to be unbiased like me with your job where you can just be as pro LSU as you want to be. Then where you want LSU to be as a fan is where we are right now, 3-0. Doing whatever it takes to win games. And you need more from this offense if you're going to win a national championship. There's just no getting around that. But for the first 3 games, as this team kind of figures itself out and evolves, your defense with all those new pieces is unbelievable. Your offense with a scattering of a few new pieces, but mostly returning guys. They have got to get it going. And here's the thing. They've got the time, and I think they've got the personnel to, evolve over the season and get better over the season, the offense. The defense, I got to be honest, I was kind of worried, there's so many different guys. I knew they were going to be good. I knew they were going to be great. I thought it was going to take them a while to evolve into that as well. So you already have a defense that is a top 5 national defense right now. Just incredible. And you have an offense that is 82nd in the country, something like that. It's not good. But if you get this offense to be 72nd, 70th rated offense in the country, with this defense, being this unbelievable, this stifling, this athletic, this fast. They're so fast. They close those windows down so fast. With a defense like this, it's got me dreaming. It's got me thinking national championship with this LSU team. Because you've got Garrett Nussmeier. You can build to something. You can culminate to something by year's end. I can't see Garrett Nussmeier being the quarterback who has a defense that is absolutely generational, has the deepest receiving core since 2019, has a Maxwell Award watch list running back in Caden Durham, and you cannot deliver on some type of postseason run. I can't see it. I can't see it happening. And you got to see Nussmeier bring his performance up. He's got to get better than this. This has been a really torrid start from him. He's had moments where he's managing us through these tough moments, and that's fine and all well and all good. But it feels like there's something physical that is limiting him from Joe Sloan, Cortez Hankton unleashing this offense. Something down the football field, throwing the football down the field more than just 10 yards. Like I said earlier, just 6.5 average depth of target for Garrett Nussmeier. That means he's only passing 6.5 yards. It's 6.5 yards before he's letting go of the football per pass. And it was over 9. It was over 9 last year. And last year was a lot of short routes and stuff. So you look at a guy like Jaden Daniels, 2023, in that high-flying year, it was something around like 15. You want, with Nussmeier, somewhere around 11 or 12 here, 10, like you can work the short with these guys, and a lot of these routes should be short, quick hitters. But what blew me away was how much our offense looked away from the inside of the football field. I've been saying it all offseason. Throw the football inside on these inside routes. Berrien Brown, Xavier Thomas, Aaron Anderson, Chris Hilton Jr., they will not be caught. They will not be contended with. Crosser routes, in routes, slants. When we saw it dialed up yesterday, it worked like a charm. And it culminated in a drive with Xavier Thomas scoring a touchdown. Dial it up, nonstop. Feed those guys. Over the middle, nonstop. No one can defend them in that position. No one. And you cannot hang with their speed. That's a recipe to solving this LSU offense. That's a recipe to opening things up for Caden Durham in the backfield. LSU's defense dictates terms to Florida in 20-10 win. LSU are 3-0 with another defensive masterclass, everybody. There is some offensive concern. There is a lot of offensive concern in some corners. But there's something about this defense that is just otherworldly. This defense, and they're going to get better, hopefully, if they stay healthy, because they just have the creativity of Blake Baker. and you combine that with the speed, the athleticism that he has at his disposal. And now you've got strength and real tower of power brutality from guys like Bernard Gooden, Dominic McKinley getting sacks now, Ahmad Bro attacking the backfield, Jacobian Guillory getting his best sack, his best moment in an LSU Tiger uniform yesterday. Everyone on that defense is firing on all cylinders. They're all having their moment. They're all loving playing for LSU right now. And offensively, it seems like anything but. Those guys seem like they would rather be anywhere but playing football for LSU right now. And that goes for their quarterback as well. And it's got to change because these two worlds combined, just a complementary offense and this renegade, unbelievable defense, and you have a national championship winner at LSU. It's not even close, especially in a year with a weaker landscape. Alabama aren't even close to what you thought. Clemson aren't close to what you thought. Maybe Georgia will be there with Gunnar Stockton. Maybe Oklahoma are the real deal. Tough schedule for them as well, Oklahoma. There's so many pitfalls and minefields for these teams as well, whereas LSU, now we got Southeastern. Throughout this season, LSU have gimme games at the perfect moments, bye weeks at the perfect moments to recover, replenish, and rejuvenate. And here comes another one after really 3 just viciously brutal games that kind of beat this team up. And maybe a chance for this offense to figure some things out and get some new wrinkles that expand this offense more than just the 3, 4, 5 yard bubble screen type play. Anyway, everybody, thank you for listening. Nearly 2 hours of us ramble. We have really enjoyed you guys with your comments, your questions, your thoughts on what we saw LSU versus Florida, but we'd like to see more of it. And thank you so much for joining us, everybody. Have a hell of a night. If you want more of this LSU Florida breakdown, check out our article last night that we posted. Let me post that in the link right now in the comments section. We wrote this thing like we always do. We always write a post-mortem article very quickly. Or, sometimes we will do a post-game show and then the article, but we really love, it's kind of a very long time tradition of doing the articles. Let's see here. Copy that link. All right, everybody. There we go. Copied and pasted that link there in the description, as well as on the comment section. Everybody, as Deshaun Spears is doing right there, peace. Go Tigers, everybody. LSU are 3-0, and that ain't a bad thing.